So the first fly we're tying is called, we call it the Crud Puff.
Crud.
It is aptly named too, because it doesn't look like much more than that. Here's one I tied up earlier, so that's what we're going to be tying. So this is a 555 jig hook, little streamer hook, size 12. I don't know how well you can see that, but there it is. Yeah, you can see it real well. It's 20 feet large. All right, so we're just going to kind of cross wrap this on. And I'm going to do as best I can with all of the little implements I have. Usually I flail a little bit more when I tie, but we're not going to do that too much tonight. All right, so most of what we're going to be tying tonight are going to be subsurface patterns for carp. Not a huge call for a lot of topwater stuff, but I do actually, in my arsenal, have quite a few topwater flies that I go after, but more often than not, you're going to be going after them down under, but we'll talk more about that later. So, all right, so we are going to, there we go. So we're going to put a little bit of a tail on this. We're going to use just some natural pheasant, about the body length. And with carp, one of the main things you want to recognize and realize is that they're very visual. And so if you tie it streamlined, if you tie it coming off the back of the hook, you're going to miss fish. You're not going to get their attention as much. And so if you go after the, look, just think I need it to be vertical. I need it to be kind of sticking up a little bit. Now something to flag them down with. And I'll actually tie this in 3 different weights. So I'll do it with bead chain eyes. I'll also do it with these small lead, or these little brass and lead eyes as well, or with no eyes at all, just a little bit of leadless or leaded weight wrapped on the hook. Just depending on the depth that the carp are at and feeding at, it just kind of depends on what you're after, or what they're after, I should say. So we're going to tie in the ribbing material. You can use, one of my favorite ribbing materials is actually just old monofilament that I've retired from the year before, because it's free and I've already bought it. But this is it's a Spectra Splash, it's Spirit River material, and I use this on a lot of my patterns actually. Probably one of my favorite Corona Mid patterns is with this body material here. We're going to get, all right, then we are going to get this special blended rabbit, which if you want to know where it's from or what the blend is, I don't know. You just have to raise rabbits and shave them when they're done being alive.
Do they kick when you shave them?
Sometimes. Yeah, it's not breathing the hair in when you shave them is the tricky part though. All right, so we're just dubbing a nice thick body on here. And with carp, another thing you need to recognize and remember is that they have some of the best sense of smell, sense of sight, sense of hearing of just about any fish you will pursue, fresh or salt water. And so you want to have something that's visually appealing. Occasionally you want something that makes a little bit of noise. And so it just kind of, again, it depends on the conditions, how muddy or clear the water is. So have your arsenal reflecting that. But this is just a good all-around fly. And I've actually caught bass and trout and perch and all sorts of stuff on this. Catfish too, actually, come to think of it. Caught a really nice, about a 12-pound cat last week on a similar fly to this. So we're going to take that up to there, and we're going to take this ribbing material, and it really doesn't do anything other than add just a little bit of flash and change the silhouette a little bit. I think more often than not we put stuff on flies for us than we do for the fish, but that's all right to do. All right.
Where were you fishing for the cat also?
Utah Lake.
Utah Lake.
Out by the airport.
Yeah.
Down through there, so. And fishing for carp, stumbled into it.
So you were targeting carp and saw a cat?
Okay. So now some of these legs here. I had one earlier. So when tying in these legs, a lot of people struggle with this because they'll try and put it on the side and it pushes around. The best way I've found to tie these is you actually find the middle point of the leg. There we go. You wrap it around your thread and you just pull it into place and it stays put. And if you're not happy with it, you can replace it. And again, we want this to be up on what to us would be the bottom portion of the fly, because this is going to ride hook point up, as most carp flies do. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find the center point, slide it right into position. There we go. Now, as they have some of the best eyesight, sometimes that little bit of flash will put them off, or who knows. I mean, it could be something you ate 3 days ago that you looked at wrong and they decided they didn't like it. But, so for these, we're going to use a little bit of Zelon here, and we're going to use, there we go. Throw on some peacock. Now peacock, as you know, very, very, very brittle tying material. And I don't like having to tie flies over and over, having fish break it apart. So what I do is I'll actually treat it like dubbing, wrap it around my thread so that now, even if I catch a toothy critter, that's going to stay nice and put together in one chunk of hurl for me. It's not going to go anywhere. And I'll tie these with and without peacock heads. I'll do them sometimes just the whole thing with hare's ear. Just again, if it's a darker water situation, you'll need darker heads sometimes too, so it just depends. Alright, just get those legs going the way we want them to. And now we're going to take this little bit of olive Zelon.
What's the natural food that you're going to take?
Well, this could be a little baby crayfish. It could be, you know, kind of, yeah, anything. I mean, I've caught carp that have been feeding mid-water on these. I've caught them that have been down rooting in the mud. It just kind of is a good all-around pattern because you can.
Dragonfly.
Yeah, definitely. It's just kind of one of those patterns. People ask me, what are you imitating? It's like, whatever they're eating. As long as it's close enough to whatever they're eating, I'm good. All right, so same thing on that as the rubber legs. We just found the center point and tied it in. And we'll just put that together there. And this will actually hide that hook point a little bit too. For those of them that are picky enough to have a problem with that. But it also makes us feel better. And I'll just trim it flush. Just like that.